Hello, and welcome to RoundUp Across America. I'm Chris Lunt, your host, and this is your Roundup for today, September 6th, 2012. Let's get started. So as you know, RoundUp Across America is a show where I, Chris Lunt, will look at today's top political news stories, as well as this week, ongoing political news stories, and I'll report them to you in a way that I think we can generate good discussion. Even though you're not talking to me specifically, I can kind of give you my point of view and tell you what's going on, and then you can analyze that, and then you can send an email or comments. We can kind of, take the political events and the news, which is very relevant today, and that's happening on a daily basis, and analyze it and break it down, see how it affects us, why it matters, what's going on. I'm here to help facilitate your learning and educate you on the top political stories for today. That's my job. Your job, hopefully, is to take what I give you with a grain of salt. I do put my own little spin on things. I do give you my opinion of things, but I try and present it in a way that you can kind of see where I'm coming from and where others might be coming from, and see, really what the issue is, and how we address it. And so hopefully from that you can take this information and use it to be an informed voter, to just know generally what's going on, be an informed U.S. citizen, and to know how these political events are affecting your life, and why it matters, and why you are important as an American citizen, why your vote counts, why everything matters, and that's the objective I hope to accomplish on this show. So come along for the ride. Like I said, right now we're planning on this being, a weekly show. May turn out to be a daily show. We'll just see how involved we get. But this show is really about bringing information to you. And the only way I can bring information to you is if you like, support, and promote my channel. I'm not saying that to be cocky or saying, oh, I'm the best YouTube channel out there. No. My goal is to provide political news and insight, and just general insight into what's happening across America and across the world on a daily basis. And if you like to tune in for what I have to say, and if you like to participate in the discussions I'd like to have, that'd be great, because I'm just trying to myself become a more informed and involved citizen, and I think that's important for everybody. I think it's important because we're Americans. We have this democracy where we, can inform ourselves on issues. We can study candidates. We can choose the people we want to lead the country. We can support candidates. We can choose policies and stuff that really affect us. And to sit back and to not be involved in any of that, then you really can't complain when stuff goes wrong, or you don't like, a certain candidate or a certain policy. If you don't get involved, you can't really expect to complain about it, or to if you want to see change, you got to make it, in essence, And so with my help and with your guys' participation, I hope we can do that. So stay tuned. This is going to be an ongoing episode, and let's get right into it, shall we? On today's news, the top story for today is concerning the Democratic National Convention. Specifically tonight, being Thursday night, this is the final evening of the convention, where President Obama will present a speech and officially accept his renomination for and candidacy as the official nominee for the Democratic Party to represent us once again as President of the United States of America. Now, as you know, President Obama, using the word president, obviously, he is the President of the United States at this time, and we are in an election year, 2012, with the election day being November 6th. And at that choice, we will have two main candidates running for office. President Obama, obviously representing the Democratic National Party, as well as on the Republican side, we have newly nominated, his nomination is not new per se. It was clear that he was going to be the nominee several months now, but the official nomination took place at the Republican National Convention, which happened just last week in Tampa, Florida, where he gave his speech also on Thursday of last week. But tonight in Charlottesville, North Carolina, President Obama is set to give his speech and accept his nomination. And the biggest kind of story from this article is that, this will be the second time President Obama has given a nomination speech. The only problem with this time during the speech is he has to sort of overcome the rhetoric and the promises and the nuances of his speech in 2008 when he first ran for public office as President of the United States of America. In that speech, he made some pretty drastic statements saying what he thought the problems with the country were then and how he was going to fix them. If you don't mind, I'll quote a piece from the article here. It says, and this is quoting President Obama, this is from his speech in 2008. He says, "You see, we Democrats have a very different measure of what constitutes progress in our country. We measure progress by how many people can find a job that pays the mortgage, whether you can put a little extra money aside at the end of each month so someday you can watch your children earn their college diploma. We measure progress in the 23 million jobs that were created when Bill Clinton was president, when the average American family saw its income go up 7,500 instead of go down 2,000 like under George Bush." Now those are some pretty harsh words, I say harsh. That's pretty strong rhetoric, And now looking back, 2012, over the past 4 years of his presidency, me personally, I don't see where he can validate these statements, because under President Obama, jobs have gone down, not up. We've lost jobs. We've lost jobs. And that's huge. That's our economy. If you don't work or you're underemployed, you can't pay the mortgage, like he says. You can't put a little extra money aside each month. It's not going to work if you don't have a job and income to support you and your family. Savings are going away. Jobs are being lost. And yes, we're in a recovery, but guess what? It's a stale recovery. It's the slowest recovery, since the Great Depression. We haven't, we're not necessarily going down, but we're not necessarily going up. Barely. We're kind of at a stalemate, just right there in the middle. And that's not good. That's not good. That's not a good economy. And that's not what we as Americans should want as an economy. We need to improve. The debt, $16 trillion almost in debt, that's not sustainable. He talks about taking the debt down, but under him, we've taken the debt skyfold. George Bush, from his time, we only had $5 trillion in debt. With Obama, we're now at $16 trillion. That's more than double what we had under Bush. That's, to say that, we need to get rid of the debt, we need to fix the economy, and yet you do the opposite, and you expect us to re-vote for you and to support you. I know, and take in mind that President Obama's new campaign slogan is "Forward," and he says that the reason he wants to be elected again is he knows things aren't where they should be, and he wants another 4 years to keep the change rolling that he promised in 2008. Even though things aren't perfect now, he says, "Give me 4 more years and we'll have it." Well, Mr. President, I'm sorry to say, but we've already given you 4 years and we haven't gotten better. No offense, if you're going to continue what you've been doing before, these next 4 years are going to get worse, not better. So why do I want to vote for you? Now, I'm not saying that everything the president has done is bad. I'm just saying that, looking at the high unemployment, the high debt, the healthcare law, which, the majority of Americans don't support, are uneasy about, that would like to see repealed. I would like to see that law repealed, and hopefully that law can be repealed. To say that the president is doing all he can to make change and to lower the debt, well, no offense, Mr. President, you can say that, but looking at your record and looking at what's actually happening in the country, debt is going higher, more jobs are being lost, the economy is at a stalemate, things aren't getting better, we're just not seeing it. You can talk about it and talk about it and talk about it, but your policies produce the opposite effect of what you're trying to cause. You're redistributing the wealth, not giving everybody, more opportunity to, have a better life and get a better income, it's not working the way you say it's working, if that makes any sense. And therefore, I think that we need to choose a new candidate for president. Personally, I side with Mitt Romney. I think he has a very specific plan of how he's going to fix the economy. Mitt Romney has been in business. He knows what it means to balance a paycheck, to do payroll and to make a company grow. He knows what laws and regulations hinder growth and stimulation in the economy. He knows why companies stay and why they go overseas. He's been there. He's ran a successful company. He's also done, he's also failed at certain companies. He's had the opportunity to realize what failure means, and he's realized what success means. So he knows, a good plan for the American economy. And he knows that $16 in debt, we can't sustain that. We need to balance our budget. I mean, it's simple. At home, you don't spend more than you have. I mean, at least I hope you don't. Otherwise, you'd be in debt, which, many Americans are. But, good Americans are frugal. They know that they can't spend more than they bring in. But the president thinks that just because the government brings in X amount of money, it's okay. We've got all the stuff we need to do. We can spend however much. It doesn't matter how much we actually bring in. We can take a little debt from China. It's not going to affect us. 16 trillion. Oh, that's hardly nothing. 16 trillion of debt. That's a lot. I mean, it's not sustainable. We have to balance the budget. I mean, that's a must. It's a key. I mean, businesses. A business can't sustain itself if it, spends more than it takes in. Businesses grow when they have a little surplus, when they can bring in more money than they spend and expand and invest in their employees and their company and infrastructure and give back to the community. That's when we grow, is when we have exponential growth and we have an overflow of income and salary, not only for personal American families and home income, but also for businesses, and then by extension the government. We have to balance the budget. It's key. And then moving on, Mitt Romney is also, a great leader. He'll repeal Obamacare. At least that's what he says he'll do, and I believe that he'll try everything he can. And with the Republicans already controlling the House, and hopefully with this election also the Senate, with all three parts of the federal government being controlled, the executive, the legislative, and part of the judiciary, I think we can repeal Obamacare. And that's important. Very important. So along with that, I think this election is going to be a clear choice. It's going to be a clear choice between liberalism and conservatism. Spending more, spending less. Making the government bigger, making the government smaller. President Obama thinks that government is the answer. Bigger government, better prosperity. Mitt Romney thinks a little different. He thinks less government. Federal government, I mean. More state, controlled government. More local government. More people involved. More conservatism. More common sense. That's what will bring, American prosperity back. That's why Mitt Romney believes in America. And I believe in America. And I believe that we can change this. We have a choice. We had 4 years of Obama. We thought it was a good choice in 2008. Personally, I still didn't believe in Obama, but lots of Americans did. He gave a good, solid promise. He wanted to change America in a positive way. And everybody wants what he was offering. He wanted to lower the debt. He wanted to create more jobs. He wanted all this. But the way he went about doing it, using liberal policies and socialism, is not the means to the end. It does not create the expectations and the promises that he promised us and that we ourselves as Americans actually want and wanted. That's why Romney offers those same commitments, but he offers an actual plan to get there. A plan that is based on conservatism, small government, ways that are actually feasible, small increments of change, not one huge overhaul of the government. And that's why I think this election is so important. We can't sit back and just let another 4 years of Obama roll on. It's not going to work. We have to take a stand. We have to decide which side we're on, how we're going to fix it, and what we need to do. And it's clear. November 6th, we need to go to the polls and we need to vote for conservative leaders, people who understand what it means to have had a job, to run a business, to be an American entrepreneur. It's important. This election is so important, and I hope that you, viewers, will understand the significance of this election, that you'll take this seriously. You'll study both the candidates. You'll study what President Obama has done over the 4 years, what he promises to do, what Mitt Romney has done in his lifetime of public service and political or business endeavors. He's been governor of Massachusetts. Where he was able to balance the budget, where he was able to, create a stronger state, and that's important. And I think we can take from his leadership. And I think Mitt Romney is the guy to change America. We're on a narrow path, a rocky path, and we can't continue down it. It's just going to get smaller to where we can't stay on the path. We need to get back on a solid footing, get back on track to the America that we once were, to the America where people from tomorrow's generation, our children and our grandchildren, can have a better life than we did. An America where people from all across the world come to our country to enjoy the freedoms that we have, come legally and through a process that is fair and balanced for all who wish to partake in the freedoms of America. Together we are strong, but divided we fail. That's a quote from Benjamin Franklin, divided we will fail. And President Obama is trying to divide our country. He's trying to pin political groups against political groups, women against men, gender against gender, race against race. We have to come together as Americans. We have to save the country that we all love. I love America. I hope you love America. I'm sure you love America. I love America so much that I'm creating videos like this to get people informed, to do my part. My vote counts. Yours does too. So join me, November 6th, 2012, and we can get this done. We can change America for the better. Thank you. Rounding out, this is Chris Lunt. Join me next time for another RoundUp Across America. Thank you.